Hello. So I don't really have a bucket list, but if I did, I would think that a visit to Auschwitz would probably be on it. And last year, during me and my friends' interrailing trip around Europe, we had 3 days in Krakow where we visited Auschwitz for a day. If anybody wants to learn more about interrailing, I did a video on that, which I'll try and put a link up here somewhere if I can suss it out. If I can't, then it'll be down in the comments bit. So we had 3 nights in Krakow where I sampled some of the local food and drink and had a wander around, looked at some of the old Jewish slums, well, the remains of them. Went to Schindler's factory as well and had a look around, and actually really loved that city. I love Krakow. Such a lovely, vibrant place with lots of peaceful parts to it as well. We booked our trip to Auschwitz through a local travel agent, a small local travel agent. There were lots of ways you could get it from Krakow, but we chose one particular one, and it was between £55 and £60 maybe, I don't really know, around about that. Could get it cheaper online if you book ahead, but we didn't really know what date we'd actually go and visit Auschwitz. So it cost us, like I said, £50 to £60, and we got a taxi. That included taxi and the entrance into Auschwitz with a guide. The car trip was through countryside, and we passed Auschwitz station, which is where a lot of these Jews were transported to during the Nazi period, during the war. And then we got to Auschwitz itself, which I don't really know what I expected, but it was quite big on the outside, a huge car park, lots of coaches, lots of taxis. It was touristy, but not touristy, if you know what I mean. It wasn't in your face tourist. We met our guide, and we went through the entrance. I think we had to show a passport. We had to take a passport with us, and we were given headphones, and our guide talked to us through the headphones. There was probably about 20 of us in our group, but there were thousands of people there, thousands, just walking along, being guided through the remains of the old prison camp. Finally we found our way to the main entrance with a sign which says "Work sets you free," which is mind-boggling really as to why it says that. Kind of a bit of a German sense of humour maybe, well, not the German, the Nazi sense of humour. And the guide showed us through, and I think there was just a sense of total peace as we were going through, being shown various things, being shown suitcases that will never be used again, locks of hair that were taken off women and girls before they were murdered. There were areas where you had to respect peacefulness, such as an area where people were shot. And then we went along to the gas chambers and what was remained of the gas chambers as well. After Auschwitz, we went to Birkenau, which is a kind of extension of Auschwitz, where the train tracks are still there, and was quite eerie, really. This was where the Jews were sent. They got off the train and they were made to strip naked, and then they were put into different sorts, women and children, men. Some of them went to work, some of them were sent to the gas chambers and were murdered. I think an eerie thing about it, one of the things that I will not forget really, were the words of the guide when he said, "And so we will take the final journey," that a lot of these people did before they were killed. And we walked along the track to the gas chambers and what remained of them. I think since remember there was an old saying where the birds don't fly no more, and whether it's true or not, but it seems to suggest that birds don't fly over that area anymore. Animals don't go there. It's as though they remember maybe that is a place where so much death was. Millions of Jews were murdered there, and it was harrowing. But I saw a lot of it in Auschwitz and Birkenau was harrowing, where they had to live. I suppose a lot of you maybe would have seen the films and TV series, but I don't think they do it justice really. You have to go really to see for yourself just how terrible it was. And nowadays we see a lot of racism going on in the world. The people for their beliefs, the colour of the skin, and it frightens me to think that something like what happened with the Nazis could happen again. And I think you'd have to be inhuman to want that, because the people the Jews who were brought there were treated. They weren't even treated like animals. They were less than animals. But that's how it was. This is just my own little account of my trip there. There are lots of documentaries about it with more experience, but from more experienced people than me. This is just my own little account, and I'm a bit of a writer as well. And after I went to Auschwitz, we took the train to Prague, and on the train I wrote a little piece on it, and this is what I wrote anyway. People flocked to Auschwitz daily, maybe having read a book about it, perhaps seen a film, or maybe some personal reasons. Why did I want to go? I guess something compelled me, maybe to see for myself actual proof of what propaganda, fear and hate can create. We arrived in a large car park and were showed around both Auschwitz and Birkenau. As we stepped through the entrance, even though we were among hundreds of other visitors, it felt such a lonely place, a cold place. The soil containing the blood of the dead. The air choking with the long distant cries of terror and despair. Seeing for myself the evidence of this atrocities was chilling. Glasses, shoes, suitcases were taken and never to be used again, as their owners were either imprisoned or sent to the gas chambers. Locks of hair as well, cut from women and children. They followed the old train track to the place. They were quickly sorted into groups. We retraced the steps of those heading unknowing to death, thinking they are to be put into showers. The whole process used is quite horrific. Cyclone B to kill, cremation to destroy, ashes of the dead to be mixed, then on to seeing the place where the others stayed, 4 people in a bunk, starvation. Such a sad place, and one that will live, an experience that will live with me for as long as I live.